live series, another one of the Align and Shine live series, where we focus on elements of you living in alignment. And today it is something that I come across so often as a spiritual psychologist in relationship that you have in a romantic relationship or a relationship with your children or with co-workers, or often it's in people that are really close to you, so family or friends. Or I'm going to focus a lot on your romantic relationships, and if you don't have that, use another example that fits for you, right? There's a lot of things that we want in relationships, and that could be, having great sex, having someone that understands you and appreciates you and acknowledges you, a big one that everyone wants. But that is not the most important one. What we want is someone that supports us, someone that is love what we do and encourages us, right? That is all really important as well. But that's not the one thing that where the relationship falls or stands by, if that is an English expression. It is in the Netherlands. There's so many elements that we find important in a relationship, but if this one thing is not there, none of that really matters. And it's so interesting as a starseed that we are having that. We are discovering, for example, something, right? Let's say something intuitive. We want to live intuitive. And then we discover, oh, that's so beautiful. I tune in every time that I want to do things. I'm not doing that from my mind, but from my heart. I feel what is aligned and I do that, and life becomes so much more easier. You start to live more and more in alignment. But then you have a partner that is not there yet, or that is not there, or that is not spiritual at all, or maybe is spiritual, but is not exactly there where you are. And you wish for the other to be there where you are because it's so absolutely beautiful what you experience, right? And then what it is, we want the other to come to where we are. And maybe the other does. That's wonderful. But maybe they don't. And there's so much disappointment then when they don't. Of course, I'm allowing them to have their path. But please, if you would just, or if your children, right, you see them suffering, or you see someone in your life suffering or having a hard time, or giving you a hard time for that matter, and you think, what if they would go to therapy or do something about this or learn this technique that I had? Their life would be so much better, and mine, because of the relationship that we have together. So today's video is all about what's that one thing, because that is instantly, I promise you, once you do that, your relationships will instantly transform. And you will agree with me in the end that that is indeed, oh yeah, I knew it all along, forgot about it. Great, thank you for reminding me. And then we're going to do a part where, okay, it's more practical. How are you then going to implement this one thing? Because knowing it, understanding it, becoming more aware is all steps in that direction. But then actually, and that's what we're going to do today as well, is then actually shift that, right? That you are like, oh, now I can look at the other in such a different way, through such different eyes. All right. So let's first talk about the part where we are always disappointed. Because that leads into where this one thing I'm going to talk about. My question to you is, I'm just sitting here waiting for your answer. Once I ask the question, how often are you disappointed in your relationship? Especially in a romantic relationship, or be it with family members, those others or others that are really close to you. How often are you disappointed? Or another word that might resonate with you, how often are you feeling that I don't like how it's happening, which is the same as disappointing, I think, but not liking the way it goes. We can use a lot of different words for disappointment, not being satisfied, not liking it, seeing that this is not going to work or whatever you do. And I mean, if you have a relationship you're about to break up and you feel like, I can't do this anymore, actually, then I wanted to say, by all means, go do what you want to do. But I would like to invite you, let's try this one thing first and then see how that relationship develops. Because I guarantee it will be very clear once you use this that we give it another shot, or this will actually be the thing that helps this relationship to grow and to develop beautifully. Or it gives you the insight, I'm ready now. I'm absolutely certain and ready to leave this person, because there is no way that we are going to, there's no longer something that is here for me. It's no longer aligning. But it's going to be very clear, one way or the other. So are you ready for that, right? All right. So the first thing is disappointment. I want to say something about disappointment before we go to that one thing. Disappointment is so interesting. You disappoint, you create disappointment. There is no one or nothing or a situation or your physicalities or what happens to you, but today we talk really in relation to others. There is nothing in any relationship with anyone, if it's a co-worker or a boss or anyone in politics for that matter, anyone you have an even distance relation with, even if you're like, let's just name it, even if you don't like that President Trump is chosen and he's the president, you cannot stand the guy, for example, you have a relation with him when you are impacted by that, right? If you didn't have a relation, you would not think a thought about it. But you do when you have an opinion, and then you get disappointed. And where do you get disappointed? Trump is a beautiful example, actually. Whatever side you're on, and I'm not on any side. I don't really care about any of that. But you might be as well, but then use something else. It's just a beautiful example of, we expect the presidents to, could be your country as well, to be a certain way and to stand for something and bring something to the people. You might have all kind of set ideas about what you expect of a president. And then you're disappointed when that not happen, even if the one that you chose is elected and then is not doing all the promises he made, not fulfilling those. Now bring it back to home. You might have certain expectations, right? That's still not the one thing, but this is the introduction to it. You might have certain expectations to a person in your relationship. Right? Fair enough, because you want someone that's loving, you want something that's honest, you want someone that is maybe handsome, you want someone that is acknowledging you, you want someone, and maybe you don't even have a list, but it's somewhere in your mind, possibly, I'm just suggesting, right? So you have certain expectations of what you want in a relationship. And then because you set certain expectations, if the other one is then not fulfilling then you're disappointed. Now, the interesting part was nobody told you that those were the requirements for the relationship. That is what you put in. You put requirements in, and then you chose the partner, and then you were disappointed. There was nothing that the other did. It was only you setting the rules, you choosing a partner, and then you being disappointed. Okay, you have family members. I would suggest you chose them as well before you came into this life. So it's the same. You have coworkers. You might say, but this is the only job I could get, and those are the coworkers. I have no choice. You always have a choice. You really always have a choice. You chose to work there, and those are your coworkers. And now you expect your coworkers to be a certain kind, maybe just to be kind, not rude. Maybe that's all. Maybe you have low expectations. And then they're disappointing you when they don't follow what you believe or don't portray what you believe they should be. Acknowledge you, see you, admire you is maybe too big, but that would be great. Appreciate you for the jobs that you do. And then you'd be disappointed if they don't. Again, you put the rules of what you thought that needed to be there and you disappoint yourself. So that's one element I want to put out there. And then you might say, but I mean, I want someone that's loving and kind and not someone that is rude and abusive and all that. Fair enough, right? There's something that you want. I would think you want someone that is appreciated and that's loving. And the rest comes all with it, one way or the other. And maybe not the whole list, but maybe a few of them. But let's park that there for a moment. Because you set the rules. And then what's happened, we're still going to go to the one thing that's really, I promise you, absolutely transformative. Instantly. If you apply that. I promise. So, the next thing then is, what was I thinking? I don't really have notes here. It's all at the top of my head. I forgot my thought because I'm thinking, is this actually streaming? Is it? So my mind goes away. Let me focus again. Because this is really important. Yes. So I talked about the expectations and then the disappointment. The next thing I wanted to talk about, yes. As a spiritual being, as a starseed, you're on a journey and you discover things. Maybe you have been in one of my 5-day journeys. Maybe you are in my Starseed Rising mentorship, wherever you are, whatever you do, or whatever you have done, whatever you're doing. You learn things, know things, you raise your vibration or implement, hopefully, the things that you learn and use them in your life and wherever you are. Doesn't matter. But there's always in a relationship, so let's say a romantic relationship, who the other is not doing exactly the same. And as I said in the beginning, you would like to support the other and help the other. One thing, if the other is not doing the thing you do, or you see the other struggle, or you see if they would do just this intuitive living, oh, that makes such a difference. Their life they would be so much happier. And you know what I hear a lot, especially in in counseling for partners, which I don't do I do a few here and there. But in general, I have closed my practice, but I do here and there on request some sessions still, which is a delight. It is often, I think I'm already there, but maybe it's good that you, especially the woman to the man often, maybe it's good that you work a few sessions with my husband only, and then he's at my level, and then we can work together. How often this is happening? And my question to you is, how often do you think that? Right? If my partner would just do such and so and this and that, our relationship will be so much easier. If he would, she would, they would do, then our relationship would be so much more loving, easier, whatever you want it to be, healthier. The one thing there is, there's many things. One thing I want to point out is when we're getting to the one thing and still introducing it, we're almost there. You see the other as incomplete because you're more complete than they are. Let's put it different. Just focus on them. They are incomplete. They are not there where you believe they should be. You have a certain expectation how the other should be in your relationship. You have an expectation about how the relationship should look like. Plus, you have an expectation how the other should behave or feel or express its emotions or talk to you. Or I would say drop all of that overboard with all the expectations. I get further into that. The one thing there is, if you feel that the other one is incomplete, broken, traumatized, suffering, limited, squarey, if you have been to my 5-day free journey to live your most aligned life, we talk about squareness, squarey, humanness, You'll know all about it there. It's all your limitation, basically. You see the other one is broken. And what is that implication? Because that is so freaking relevant. Because if you see the other one is broken, which is first of all a reflection of who you are, but let's keep that aside, although it is an important point, you don't see them as whole. The other is always broken, and the other can never do anything right because it feels the energy that it's seen as broken. I'm not good enough. I'm broken. I need healing. It implicates that I'm not good enough. Whatever I do in the eyes of my partner, I am not good enough. I first need to heal or need to do this or that and that. Only then my partner sees me as whole. You know how horrible it is to be seen by another as broken. To only see that element of a person. It's the same if someone is sick. You can look at the person with sick and only see the sickness and only talk about that part that is not healthy. But a person is more than just the part that is sick. The person is in general healthy, and there's one element or two, there's an element of it that is not functioning as healthy as the rest. All right. You're getting it so far, what I'm saying here, right? This is really important. To be seen as whole is the answer, and I would like to call that what is really the number one issue, what really, really instantly will transform your relationship. Listen to this carefully. If you could accept the other as whole, if you could accept the other as being on a spiritual path, because we all are, if we're conscious of it or not, if you could see the other accepting that they are, this is the most important one, that they are a soul, a higher self, a higher consciousness that is having a human experience. They are brilliant, perfect. So their higher self, their soul, all the same name, right? Their higher consciousness is perfect, whole, loving, expansive, expanded, expansive, beautiful, warm, unconditional love, creative, whole, healed. I mean, was never anything that needed to be healed. It's perfect. It's beautiful. And from there, they have that human experience that is trying to figure it out. And you're just responding to the human that is trying to figure it out. My suggestion is address their wholeness, their holiness, their wholeness, their light. Address them as complete. And just see that their human is just trying to figure it out, struggling, getting through life and doing whatever it feels it needs to do. Possibly to get back to the realization, I'm a higher self, I'm a higher consciousness who has a human experience, but also possibly that they never will do that. And not one way is better than the other. It's just different paths, different life paths. And all you can do, and that's really the number one that transforms everything, is to accept that they are exactly where they need to be. That they are that higher consciousness having a human experience. And where they are now in life is exactly right. It's exactly where they need to be. There's nothing that you need to change or they need to change. And of course, we're all developing and growing, and that's true. But you decided how you wanted your path to go. And they will decide their path, and they will decide their path. And all we do, and we all do that in our own way. And if we are not at a certain level, or however we call that, or density, or whatever, thoughts, feelings, then it doesn't mean that it's not good enough. It's always good enough. Do you see that if you would accept your partner, your family member, or people that, anyone basically, but see it for yourself with someone you're close to, if you just for a moment, I want to ask you to close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. So take a deep breath. Imagine that person. And just simply say out loud now for yourself. Doesn't have to be in their presence. It is something you do alone, not in their presence. They have nothing to do with this process. Nothing, really nothing. That you can say, I accept Johan, Andrea, or whoever their name is, fully for what they are. I accept Johan, whatever name, exactly the way they show up today. I appreciate the journey that they're on. I love, feel into this one. Say it out loud if you can. I love the journey that Anna is on. Use your name of the person that is you're relating to. I love the path they're on. And it could be a path that you're not accepting, that you're not appreciated, that you don't think it's a good path, or it's nothing to do with your opinion. It's really nothing to do with your opinion of what you feel is good or bad. That might something that you would never do. That's all fine and well, but it's none of your business how they're doing their journey. So can you then please go to the place? And I tell you, this is so transformative. I love the journey Anna is on. I love the way she is expressing herself in life. You translate it to what is relevant for you. And even if you don't feel that yet, just saying that out loud and then feel all the resistance passing through you, just allow it. There's so much resistance in your system. You might burp, you might fall asleep, you might be distracted, you might have not heard anything of I said because there's some part of you that thinks, no freaking way we're doing this. Turn it around and imagine that someone would see you as whole, as brilliant, as perfect, accepting every step on the path, every step you take on the path that you want. How beautiful that will be. How amazing that will be. Right? And it doesn't mean you like or dislike, or it doesn't mean that it's important if you like or dislike. That is irrelevant for the moment. You can have those opinions, but this acceptance is nothing to do with like or dislike. Nothing to do with approving or not approving. So even if there is someone that is abusive, and I don't say you have to then be the receiver of that abuse, but if you could, even there, accept that person, and then translate the abuser to any language that works for you, or someone that is mean, or someone that's negative, or whatever that is, but I want to use the one for abuser, because that will come up. But this is different, but it's not. So if that abuser, you can accept that abuser is on a path in its or her or their life that it is on, and that is perfect in the present moment. The person is whole, is complete, their essence is, and they're having a human experience, and they are choosing that in whatever way that fits them. You don't have to like or dislike it, but accept that is what they are. And let me tell you what the acceptance does. That takes away your resistance to where that person is in their life. Because if you are in a relationship with an abuser, be it your boss, be it a partner, being whoever, if you are choosing to be in that relationship, right? And I don't wish that for you. But if you constantly believe if the person changes, or if they would be this or they would be that, and that would be so much different, right? If they would see me and then blah, 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 that's all irrelevant. if you can go to a space of accepting them for who they are and how they show up in their life, right? Because it is what it is. It is no different than what it is. So if someone is verbally very abusive, then they are very verbally abusive. And you can accept that that is there or don't accept, but it's there. It is happening. So can you accept that that is happening? It's just a fact, right? You only have to accept the facts that you see and let that then be. And know that this is part of their path. This is what they chose to do. And accept that that is what they chose to do. And have no judgment whatsoever. Now then your choice is, if that is who they truly are, and not believing that I might change or this and that, because that's how they show up. Now I can choose what I want to do with this. But you can choose only, I don't say only, but often we can choose better when we are in a state of acceptance. When our thinking becomes clear and not troubled thinking, we can change or influence the situation. It is just what it is. And then you have a choice. Do I want to be with that or not? Do I want to stay away from that or not? But first of all, what you will see, there will be such a shift in that relationship, most likely, because you come from a point of acceptance. And that will absolutely is going to change the situation. You will see, most likely, this is not a promise, a guarantee, but in most cases, and come back to me if it isn't, in most cases, you will start noticing, if you can stay in that acceptance, start noticing that the other is starting to treat you absolutely different. Because there's no resistance to them. So they don't have to act against your resistance, which is causing such a tension and conflict. It's going to be the absolute game changer in your relationship if you can accept where they are without a need to change anything. I hope that has helped you so much. I hope this showed, and I hope this recorded. I want to thank you for liking and subscribing, and liking this video, subscribing to this video, and sharing it with others that can use it. And I love to hear how this resonated with you. And we continue with this in the Starseed Living Facebook group. It's a closed group. You're welcome to join for Starseeds. And we're going to deepen this theme this coming week. So most welcome to join me there. It was such a pleasure doing this with you, and I'm looking forward to connect with you next time.